Now, in today's episode, we have a fragrance that goes back to 2010. This one is by l'artisan Parfumeur. This one is called Coeur de Vetiver Sacre, and it means heart of the sacred vetiver. I'm excited to give you my thoughts on this fragrance, so make sure to stay tuned. Now, before I begin today's episode and I give you my thoughts on Coeur de Vetiver Sacre by l'artisan Parfumeur, and I do admit that it is a discontinued fragrance, so I do apologize sincerely for that. I do want to start the video off first by saying that if you're a fan of fragrance-related content, please do consider supporting the channel by subscribing to it. Hit the bell icon and give this video a thumbs up for the YouTube algorithm. It would greatly assist things on this channel in terms of videos appearing more so in your feed, so on and so forth. It would just really mean a lot to me. Now, let me just address the elephant in the room. I know this is a discontinued fragrance, and I do apologize for that. As a matter of fact, not too long ago, I reviewed Santal Extreme, I think it was, by Aaron Terrence Hughes, and a couple of people brought to my attention the fact that it was discontinued, so please accept my apologies. I just kind of feel as though on this channel, I like to review a little bit of everything. I have close to 3,000 bottles in my collection, so some of them are going to be designers, some niche, some are going to be 15 bucks, some are going to be 1,500 bucks, some are going to be in production, some are going to be discontinued. So I do like to review a little bit of everything, and I hope you don't mind. And this is one that you can actually still find in some of the Facebook groups. So if the way that I'm reviewing it and my description of this fragrance appeals to you, it might be one that you might end up keeping on your radar, and maybe if you end up seeing a bottle online for a decent enough price, you might end up picking it up, but it may surprise you. So here's the fragrance, came out in 2010. Of course, this is a vetiver-based fragrance, but there's also tea, there's incense, there's apricot, there's dates. So it has a little bit of a fruity component. There's also civet, so it can be a little animalic in the dry down. Not in my opinion, though. As far as the note breakdown is concerned, one would get the impression that it's going to be animalic, but I don't really find that to be the case, if I'm being honest. There's tarragon, there's some other aromatic ingredients, a touch of labdanum as well. But I think the vetiver, the dates, the incense, and the fruits are the star of the show, with that tea note in there. Very expertly blended, might I add. I'm looking forward to giving you my thoughts on the smell. Let's start things off with a quick look at the presentation first. Now, right in the opening of this fragrance, you are going to get that tea and vetiver combination. And I've always said on my channel, vetiver has a few different personalities. You can get a very dirty vetiver, smells like earth, smells like soil. Of course, you have varieties of vetiver, like Creed's original vetiver, which comes across squeaky clean. Like, it's so polished, there are no rough edges. It's quite wonderful, right? And it actually smells rather soapy. A lot of people have used the adjective soapy to describe the smell of Creed's original vetiver. In the case of this fragrance, you do have the clean variety of vetiver. It's not squeaky clean, it doesn't smell soapy or anything like that. However, it doesn't smell like soil either, right? So it doesn't have that earthy texture that a lot of other vetiver-based fragrances do have. Tom Ford's Gray Vetiver, also kind of bordering along that earthy territory. Vetiver by Roja Parfum being another one as well. Guerlain has a vetiver-based fragrance that could kind of be like that. But in any case, here you have the vetiver and the tea. It's so calm, it's tranquil, it's serene, it's quite wonderful. And then you have this combination of dates and apricot. Now, the apricot is very juicy. It has a really nice personality to it. And apricots, as well as peach, are used in a lot of fruity floral perfumes, especially ones that are marketed to women. So whenever I see apricot in a note breakdown, I'm usually not sure how it's going to smell. As a matter of fact, apricot is an ingredient in Dulce Diablo by Narcotica, and I love that fragrance to death. It's one of the best gourmands ever. It was composed by Claude Durr. It's such a beautiful fragrance. And in this fragrance, of course, the apricot plays more of a secondary role, or, its existence is not as strong as some of the other ingredients in here. Now, as far as the dates are concerned, I like that it has that exotic fruity quality about it. And there's a bit of sweetness in here. It's not cloying and it's not overly saccharine or anything like that. But you can tell that it does have a bit of a fruity vibe in the opening, and I do find that it's a really nice combination to perhaps some of the other ingredients that are in here, the tarragon, the labdanum. The labdanum is also exotically rich and a little bit on the sweet side of things. Labdanum is said to have a very strong vanillic overtone, and I've tried labdanum and I've tried styrax and I've tried a lot of other balsamic ingredients, and by far the sweetest one is the labdanum. And so this one does have a nice dose of it. There's some animalic ingredients in here as well, not too strong if I'm being honest with you. The star players, and of course this has been around for many years, and hundreds of people agree. If you look online on fragrance forums, you're going to get the tea, the vetiver, the apricot, the incense, the dates. It's not smoky. It's a little bit earthy, but it doesn't smell dirty, and I mean that in a literal sense. It doesn't smell like dirt or soil or anything like that. This is wonderful. This is such a great vetiver based fragrance, but because there are so many other ingredients in here, I feel like the DNA is a bit complicated. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend this as a vetiver based fragrance, despite the fact that it has vetiver in the name. I feel like it's so detached from what people would expect from a vetiver-based fragrance. I would sooner recommend something like Guerlain's vetiver, Tom Ford's Grey vetiver, vetiver by Roja Parfum. There's a lot of other vetiver-based offerings. Even Lorenzo Villoresi has a very dirty type of a vetiver perfume that I would certainly recommend before I recommend this one. But I do find that this is a fantastic release by L'Artisan Parfumeur. Unfortunately, it is discontinued, and they had it for a really good price when it was still available in production and discounted, and I bought this bottle at a discount. I didn't pay full retail for it. I don't remember where I bought it. Could have been like a Fragrance X or a Max Aroma or something like that, but look around. You might get lucky. If you're a fan of tea, vetiver, and fruity notes, check this one out. Coeur de Vetiver Sacre. Pardon my French pronunciation, I'm not a native speaker. I am a polyglot, but I don't speak French. Let's go ahead and finish things off with my overall assessment. Now, first up, in terms of the uniqueness and the overall smell, I do find this to be a pretty unique fragrance. All things considered, I've weighed it against a lot of other fragrances in my collection, and as far as the way that the vetiver is being represented here, it's fairly unique. Longevity on this one, you can expect about 8 hours on skin. Projection was wonderful. For the first 45 minutes of application, it radiated within an arm's length. It became an elbow's length scent right around hour 5 to 5.5, a skin scent right around hour 8. In terms of the versatility, perfectly unisex, great for the colder weather. I would say every season, as a matter of fact, especially if you're wearing it indoors, but it is one of the stronger L'Artisan fragrances. However, I would sooner wear something like Tea for Two in the colder weather, or even Noir Exquis before I wear this one. So this could be more of like a hot weather and cold weather fragrance. In the summertime, I would wait until the evening when there's a nice breeze in the air. I think this one, like I said, perfectly unisex, great for dressed up or dressed down. Anybody of any age could really appreciate this one. And I think the versatility is pretty high up there for this one. In terms of the presentation, it's really nice. The name was a little bit confusing for me. I'm sure there's a narrative and a history and a deeper explanation behind it. But, in the heart of sacred vetiver, I'm just going to leave it the way it is, and it is a discontinued fragrance. And, I would sooner think of other notes and ingredients before vetiver comes to mind, but that's neither here nor there. My final verdict on this fragrance is I think it's a wonderful fragrance. It's a bit of a bummer that it's discontinued. I apologize for those of you that are watching this video and you're getting quite frustrated by the fact that I'm reviewing a discontinued fragrance. Please accept my apologies. I just like to diversify the content on this channel as much as possible, and I hope you can understand where I'm coming from. But in any case, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you took something of value from today's episode. If you did, please do consider supporting the channel by subscribing to it. Hit that neighboring bell so you could be notified whenever I upload these daily videos to YouTube. Give this video a thumbs up as well. Thank you so much for watching. Love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.